Okay. Okay, we still have so much to talk about. But I hope here you guys can see this little jacket taking shape. So we've got this little vest, and then on the inside, you can see the back body here. We've got our piece of canvas, our muslin, our flannel that lies here at the back, just caught at the shoulder and your side seams. Again, remember that this back, I just elected not to demo it for the sake of time. But if you're truly hand tailoring, you would have your organza with those 2-inch channels, and then also your horsehair catched at the hem. But I do think this black on this beige canvas is a great contrast, so you can see here where the interfacing talks to each other. So vent, hem, hem, front panel. And then again, muslin here, and then just bridle taping at the front. And then this will have bridle taping too. And this poor chest panel, this little chest piece gets forgotten about a lot. This gets fixed right here. And like I said in class, this just helps fill out any hollows. Okay, hold on, I lost my needle. Okay, so that chest piece, you want to catch stitch it the entire way around the perimeter and in the armholes. But then within the chest panel itself, you'll want to give it a 2-inch channel stitch. Okay. I did that wrong. I want to start from the top. Okay. Needle is right to left. Stitching is going to be left to right, jumping up and down. The reason I kind of left this guy out of the loop is because sometimes I actually don't like to apply this until I've got my breast pocket sewn in. So my breast welt falls here. I'll just stick my needle through there. So you can see that some of that is gonna be right where this chest panel lies. So I do like to just get my welt in there first and then kind of sew around it. So for instance, can you guys see that? I hope you can. Ideally it would come down and around, but it just, again, all depends on where that chest panel sits. And then same for those like 2-inch channels. So say that welt lives here. Your channels for sewing will end up above and around that. So you don't want the interference. Okay, I'm gonna just tack this down at the armhole here too. Trying to stay out of the actual seam allowance. And again, just be sure you're backstitching all of your hand sewing. Okay. And the 2-inch channels here that you would do, just so you're not confused, they need to run perpendicular to where you are at the shoulder. So they're not gonna run necessarily parallel to what you guys have already gotten here. It needs to be with the shoulder. So you're gonna have a little bit of a pitched channel. but the catch the stitch that you guys are going to use is what's same as what you did do to sew your channels along the entire length. It's not the pad stitch, it's this stitch here. So that runs the channels while you have this kind of zigzag catch stitch around the edge of the horsehair chest panel. Okay, I think it's time we talk about collars. So this is my upper collar. This is what's going to be seen on body. And I do just like to have my lightweight interfacing on here always. Then for my under collar, oh my gosh, here we go. Under collar, 2 pieces on the bias. So you can do your horsehair. I'm gonna have to find you guys a picture because this becomes pretty complicated. Or you can do your fusible. So with your horsehair, I'm just gonna see if I can sketch it out. So here's your roll line, so I just want you to picture this. With the roll line, you want to mark out 1/8 of an inch the whole way down. And then everything above that roll line is 1/4 inch. And it will span the entire collar. So you're just gonna kind of like fan out from there, but that will help you hold your shaping. If you have one layer of interfacing here fusible, you can do a second layer to cover that crescent of the roll line. Not necessary, but it is an option. The other step here, and my tape is like way too heavy for this little guy, but you would want to tape your roll line and then around the entire edge of your collar. And I think I'm just gonna have to give you guys illustrations because I know this is a lot to see and especially a lot to try to film for a video. But let me go ahead and adhere what I do have here. I'm gonna go ahead and do my back neck facing real quick too. Okay, so upper collar, under collar. I'll talk about this a little more on the machine, but just to lay all the pieces out in front of you guys now. Okay, we got our sleeves. Again, 2 options for everything. So one option is your fusible. Your other option includes your organza, and you can see I've left the vent here with my organza. Doesn't belong. There we go. That's the back body. Let's get that out of here. Okay. Never had that happen before. So again, for your traditional wool tailoring, 2-inch channels the whole length down, and then catch stitch along the edge of the vent, top here, and then the bottom. And then this is going to help us let our sleeve hang nicely on body. So this is just my little muslin piece here. Only we know it exists. So that's your upper sleeve. Here's your undersleeve. So you're matching your vents. Okay. So 2-inch channels, and this is what your formal jacket would look like side by side with. Oh, I cut my interfacing out on the wrong side. Okay, well, it's not going to be perfect. Okay, again with this portion of the sleeve here. And then you want to sew your sleeves up. So the vent on the sleeve is much like the vent on the back of the jacket. Totally didn't cut this nicely, but down, out. And then just leave room for that little fold. I'm not even going to demo this little guy here. Okay. Sew that up. I think that does it. Then we've got our sleeve, our jacket, our collar, this portion. Lining, you guys, you're going to be so happy with lining because it is really just nothing to it. It is a lining and it is a lining alone. So I'm making a mark here. This is where my vent begins. Since I want this to finish into my jacket, I'm leaving it open. So my stitch line will run gotta make our action pleat. It'll run from here down. And then this little piece here, just so you guys can see where our pattern once was, is gonna be like this. So this will form a pleat. So remember we kicked it out 1 inch from here to here. So you will keep that 1/2 inch seam allowance the whole way down. But then we'll form that pleat that will then fit into this facing that I have here. And we've got our side panels. I do want to show you the front because I just want you guys to be well aware that it's these little halvesies. So we've got our back. I'm gonna scooch stuff over. Back side. Here's the front armhole. And this is where it's going to connect to our front facing here. So I'll begin by my action pleat, sew my side seams, sew my facing in. And yeah, then we will start to get collar fitted and we will begin to turn this into a true jacket.